On behalf of the Richmond Fellowship Society, India, Lady Irwin College of Delhi University, and GL Bajaj Institute of Management in Greater Noida, I am Mridula Seth, Vice President of Richmond Fellowship Society, Delhi. We welcome all of you, our esteemed speakers and the participants, to the launch of webinar series titled Mental Health and Happiness. Dr. Aparna Khanna will be my co-host. Professor Khanna is teaching in Lady Irwin College, and she is the co-founder of Campaign for Mental Health, C for MH, and is also a governing council member of RFS Delhi branch. The purpose of starting this webinar series is to help us understand the various facets of mental health and how we at an individual and community level can create a world of happy people with good physical, social, mental, and spiritual health. We have seen post-COVID, there is enough evidence to show that material wealth does not lead to happiness. There are lots of problems that are cropping up. One thing is definite, that people have started talking about mental health. Young people, young and old, rural and urban, all people are facing problems related to mental health. In this webinar series, we will focus on 4 main issues. The first theme that we have selected is the power of gratitude. This comes under the theme mental well-being. The qualities that enrich our lives as individuals and as human beings: gratitude, compassion, forgiveness, mindfulness, meditation, empathy. All these are qualities that help us to become better human beings. That is our first webinar, which we are starting today. Our second webinar, which will be first Saturday of next month, will focus on understanding mental illnesses, how mental illnesses and the people living with mental illness, PMIs, are affected, how their lives and their families get affected because of their illness. There are so many myths and misconceptions. We will talk about the fears and how the understanding of the illness will help us alleviate some of these. Our third webinar in September will focus on caregiving and receiving care. In the families where we have loved ones living with mental illness, the term caregiving is much talked about. We talked about PMIs, they are receiving care. But as families where you have people who are not just receiving care, they're also giving care. So caregiving and receiving care will be the focus of our third webinar. We would like to share with you that our journey of working in the area of mental health, the Richmond Fellowship Society is focused on rehabilitation. And Dr. Shashi Rai is going to talk about it. But there is one thing that is very, very important. And the very fact that 3 organizations have partnered together for making this webinar. We have Richmond Fellowship Society, which is an NGO working in the area of mental health. And we have 2 educational institutions, Lady Irwin College from Delhi University, Department of Development, Communication and Extension, and GL Bajaj Institute. NGOs and educational institutions, when they partner, it's a win-win situation. Students get experiential learning, they get sensitized to social issues. And for NGOs, especially with those working with people with special needs, they get energized with the youth and young people's creativity and energy. Young people can become advocates. They need care, they need support, and they can become ambassadors for us. So we hope that we will have a good discussion today. I will now request Dr. Shashi Rai, who is the chairperson of Richmond Fellowship Society, India, to tell us a little about RFS and the work that they are doing. Dr. Rai is a practicing psychiatrist, and she is the director of Sambal, a drug addiction and psychiatric hospital in Lucknow. Dr. Shashi Rai is a member of the State Mental Health and District Mental Health Review Board. She's a member of the National Advisory Board of IABP. Dr. Rai, please welcome to the session.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a privilege to be a part of this webinar, the first in the series of webinars organized by the RFS Delhi branch in collaboration with Lady Irwin College and the Bajaj Institute of Management. And I'm really privileged to be a part of this. And I thank the organizing team and Dr. Mridula Seth in particular for taking this initiative. I also wish a happy Doctor's Day to the doctors who have logged in, because 1st July is Doctor's Day. And I can see Dr. Srinivas Murthy sir has joined, Dr. Nimesh Desai sir has joined. So wishing them all and others a very happy Doctor's Day. Though RFS is as old as 37 years old, and it is the only pan-India NGO working in the field of rehabilitation, but still our visibility is low. So what better way to start advocacy than to include the youth of the country, because they will, as ma'am said, will be the ambassadors, and they will be the main stakeholders in decision making and policy later on. So with this background, I'll just talk on the theme of the thing, mental health and happiness, 2 lines on that, and then the history of RFS. So what do we mean by mental health? Mental health basically encompasses the whole emotional, psychological, and social well-being of person, the way a person handles stress, the way a person makes decision, and he can work productively. That is the way we act, feel, and think. All that comes in mental health. The definition of mental health as given by the WHO is that is a state of well-being in which a person works productively, uses all his faculties, how he handles stress, and how the person feels that he is productive and useful to the community. And no health, it's very rightly said, no health without mental health. And for happiness, both mental health and physical health, both are equally important. Now, what is happiness? Happiness is an enduring state of mind where we have positive emotions like joy, feeling of contentment, and similarly, gratitude is another very positive emotion. Gratitude is the feeling of thankfulness and gratefulness. I'll leave this topic because Madam Vibha, she'll be doing justice to this topic. So coming to RFS, Richmond Fellowship Society is a branch of the international organization of Richmond Fellowship Society, Psychiatrist Foundation, and it was started in India in 1986, but in UK it started in 1959. It was started by a nurse, Ellie Anson, who realized that people who are having mental illness, they don't just require to be hospitalized, they're on the bed, eating medicines. She realized that they require some psychosocial interventions, social support to make their life worthwhile and more productive. So that is how, and the place in which she was working was Richmond, and that is how the name Richmond has come. It is these branches are present in about 35 countries and more than 50 branches are there worldwide. Though at present there is no actual collaboration or any tie-up between the branches, all are working as independent units. In India, it started in 1986 with motivation of Ellie Anson under the able leadership of our chairman, the founder chairman, and our present mentor, Professor G.N. Narayan Reddy. He started in Bangalore in 1986. Bangalore branch is known as a big brother. So because it shows the way for all the other branches. It is a not-for-profit organization and it is registered under the Societies Act of 1860. So the first branch which came up was the Bangalore branch in 1986. Then came the Delhi branch in 2000. Then in 2003, September, the Sidalghatta or the rural branch started. And our branch, the Lucknow branch to which I belong, is the youngest, that started in 2005. So when a person is struck up with mental illness, he or she loses many abilities. They are not able to do few things. Your life is progressing on a path and suddenly the person develops mental illness and it is derailed. So how to bring back that person to the normal fold of the community to make him or her productive is the work of rehabilitation. Once the acute illness is controlled, there steps in rehabilitation. And that is what the RFS is doing. We are playing a pivotal role in the field of rehabilitation of people with mental illness. And so the process of rehabilitation, we use the concept of therapeutic community, wherein the person, there is a non-hierarchical system of the professionals learning by practice. And the facilities which we run in all the centers, most of the centers are that in Bangalore branch, we have a daycare which can cater to 60 clients. It was doing a wonderful job before the COVID, but after the COVID, it has slowed down and it is not, the daycare has not started. Then they have a halfway home by the name of Asha, where there's a capacity to keep 20 clients, and a long stay home by the name Jyoti, where 17 clients are kept. Then in Delhi branch also, we have a halfway home, and there is a halfway home, a daycare, and outreach services are being conducted twice a month, where patients are seen in the OPD. Then in Sidalghatta, that is a rural branch. Here we have only the outreach services, which are conducted twice a month. And more than 100 patients are seen. They are seen free of cost, and even medication is given free of cost to these patients. So, and more than 100 to 150 patients are seen in each OPD, that is twice a month. And we are very grateful to different doctors from Bangalore who come and help with it. And a very senior doctor, Dr. Venkataya, he is the one who is more than 88 years old, but still he conducts the OPDs there. Then in Lucknow branch, we have daycare facility where we can keep 40 patients, a halfway home, which can cater to 20 clients, and we run OPD services. Though the Bangalore branch is full, Delhi branch is also nearly full, but the Lucknow branch, it is still underutilized. Though there is not of need for these type of facilities, but still I think there is not much of awareness. So though we have the facilities, but it is not being utilized. Another very important program, which all the branches of RFS does, is internship orientation program, where interns from different colleges, students of psychology, social work, nursing students, they come and they start, they take training from us. And they come in like a whiff of fresh air, like our clients are also very happy to meet the interns. They stay here for 1 month, teach various activities, and they go back enriched. Plus, they act as our ambassadors in the outside world. So internship orientation program is which is done in all the branches. Then organizing camps and conducting awareness programs. That is a thing which is being done in all the branches. Earlier in Bangalore branch, we also had a college specifically for teaching psychosocial rehabilitation things, but somehow it did not take off and it was not financially viable. So we had to close that down. What is it which actually being done in the rehabilitation? The main headings of rehabilitation are, first and foremost, we have to emphasize that rehabilitation is not in opposition to medication is a must. The person who has been acutely ill, who is controlled, who is stable, they have to take medication, and this has to be emphasized, because only if a person is stable can rehabilitation be taken up. So the first thing is regarding the importance of teaching the importance of medication. Then psychoeducation of the family, of the clients, that is very important. Patients who are suffering from chronic mental illness, suffering for a very long time, they are unable to do simple activities of daily living. Looking a person into the eyes, saying a simple hello, smiling at the person, eye contact, brushing, the proper hygiene. So activities of daily living, these are taught in the daycare. Then social skills training, that is being taught. Vocational training is being taught. Cultural activities. You'll always, it's really heartening to know that our clients, they are very good in cultural activities. Once they are asked to dance, sing, perform, you will not differentiate them from anyone else, and they are so happy. Like most of our, like in Lucknow, whenever we have the IMA functions, there's one program by our clients. So they are very good. Then they are taken for outings so that, they get confidence, they can buy things, or even for picnics or to a hotel so that they learn table manners. So basically, these are the things which we try to do. So daycare is a facility where the person comes in the morning, stays with us for 6 to 8 hours, and the whole day is scheduled. Like suppose this person was not coming here, then they would be just eating medicine and sleeping at home. They would be gaining weight. They have no interest, and they are not given much importance. Like in the words of one of my clients, when he came to the daycare, he said, "Auntie, आपको मुझे यहाँ पहले भेजना चाहिए था. मुझे यहाँ इतने friends मिले. लोगों ने मुझे birthday पे wish किया, which they are missing in the outside world, because once people come to know that he or she is ill, they are stigmatized. So the daycare helps, in forming friendship, relationships. Then the halfway home, that is in between a hospital and a home. Suppose people, they are controlled, they are stable, they are on medicine, but still they are not able to adjust in their house. In that case, the halfway home is a panacea where they can stay for a few months, learn about their medicine, their skills are improved, they tone down better, money management is taught to them, they do their own shopping, cleaning their clothes, everything. And then when they go home, they are much accepted. So there is another irony that many patients who come to the halfway home, sometimes it tends to become a long stay home that they do not go. So basically, this is what we are all doing. And this is about RFS. It is the only national level NGO. And I hope more people join with us and make it really useful, because we are running the facility, but it will be only useful if more and more people use it. So with these words, I thank everyone. And if there are any questions, I'll be glad to take up in the end. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Shashi Rai. And thank you for reminding us once again that, yes, it is Doctor's Day. Myself, my name is Aparna Khanna, and I represent, as Dr. Mridula Seth introduced, I represent Lady Irwin College, Department of Development, Communication and Extension at University of Delhi. And I also represent Richmond Fellowship Society as being a governing council member. And this webinar series has been a much looked at and anticipated event, because we hope to cover mental health in a way which is away from the academic environment in which usually mental health is looked at, and we will try and cover aspects that are that provide a holistic understanding and reduce stigma around the whole issue. From the Department of Development, Communication and Extension at Lady Irwin College, we have been partnering with the Richmond Fellowship Society since 2015 in a very close manner. And we have been conducting community awareness campaigns. So basically working towards preventive healthcare in the domain of mental health, and working towards conducting community awareness campaigns, as well as initiatives to orient not only our student community, but colleagues and public at large, using a public-private partnership model, wherein we try and bring together other educational institutions and NGO partners to take forward this whole conversation around mental health and help overcoming, not just creating awareness, but also overcoming stigma and shame. From the Richmond Fellowship Society, we're extremely grateful for partnering with academic institutions, because it also helps us to connect theory with practice. So students of communication, students who are understanding community outreach and extension methodologies, tools and techniques and strategies of behavior change, we are able to not only teach them in theory, but thanks to the RFS team, we are able to put them in practice as well, making it, as Dr. Mridula Seth said, a mutually learning experience for all partners. that's about us. And my most important introduction is that I'm also a caregiver. So it gives me immense pleasure to be able to do something, do an event like this, to be able to reach out to more people, more caregivers, more families who need to connect together, hold hands, and strengthen the entire, this entire fraternity of people, starting from doctors to PMIs and to families, to take this conversation forward till such time as all of us are comfortable in our skin to talk about our mental health challenges. I now request my co-host and Dr. Deepa Gupta, who's the Dean, GL Bajaj Institute of Management, Greater Noida, to please also share a few words about this partnership with RFS and how and why she has taken this initiative upon herself to connect her students to the mental health issues and mainstream conversations in her campus as well. Over to you, Dr. Deepa.
Thank you, Professor Sharma. I hope I'm clearly audible.
Yes, ma'am, you are.
Great, great. So kindly accept my warm greetings, all the distinguished members from Richmond Fellowship from all across India in this webinar, first webinar of our webinar series on mental health and the power of gratitude. It's been almost 4 years when we collaborated with Richmond Fellowship Society as a member, as a governing council member, as well as the cooperation which we have created all together. And as we all know that in the world of G20, when the whole world is talking about G20 countries and the economic welfare, and they are focusing on the dynamic 5G concept, which is known as the global entrepreneurship, growth management, governance leadership, green investment, and good practices. I truly believe that good practices in the businesses and all the countries are possible when we are able to make our society inclusive, sustainable, and growth oriented. And so that is why when we are talking about the inclusiveness, we need to include each and every one of our society. So whether people who are suffering from mental illness, they're also the part of our society. And if we are giving the right kind of care to them, it is going to help us and help them to create the connect them with the right alignment of the society. I would surely like to express my sincere thanks to Richmond Fellowship Society and their collaboration with us. With Professor Mridula Seth and Professor Sharma, we have organized many workshops, advocacy programs of our students, where our students have been taken to the nearby areas, into nearby villages, and where they created the awareness related to mental health. Even in the campus also, if I'm not wrong, Aparna ma'am, you have created 45 ambassadors, and they are continuously working in the direction of creating mental awareness, and they are contributing in many campaigns, not only in the campus but outside the campus also. So in all these outreach activities which we have planned all together are actually creating a kind of environment where our students are learning, and they are learning the art of sharing and caring. I would surely like to mention here that there were 4 to 5 students who are regularly visiting RFS, Noida, in Greater Noida, wing only, where they are teaching the computer skills to the members of Richmond Fellowship Society. And they all have shared their experience that they really like this, to go over there to share their time and their and they are actually learning the art of gratitude. As we say that I was in the beginning, I was mentioning the 5G concept. So I truly believe that in among these 5Gs, the 3Gs are very important. That 3Gs are, one should have the gravity to learn, to contribute, to share with others. And same way, we should be grateful, and we should have the gratitude, the feeling of gratitude towards what we have. That means we should, count our blessings, that how blessed we are. And so in that way, our students are actually feeling thankful, and they are full of gratitude that Richmond Fellowship Society Noida, Delhi's branch has given such opportunities to all of them. And the most important thing, which I really feel that they have learned, that is the art of gratitude. And with all these words, I would like to thank each and everyone for being with us. And special thanks to Mridula ma'am and Aparna ma'am for collaborating with us for a right purpose. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Deepa. I think we have miles to go. And it's been a pleasure interacting with your students and sharing with them the whole C4MH campaign approach and training them to be a mental health ambassadors. The more we train, the more we hands we'll have to take the campaign forward and mainstream conversations around mental health in every family. So thank you. I would now like to take this opportunity to share with you a little about our speaker of the day, that is Miss Vibha. Vibha ji is the founder of TaraSri Foundation and Muskan Trust. She has over 15 years of work in the domain of emotional and spiritual intelligence. Prior to starting her nonprofit organizations, Vibha has worked with the social sector organization, several social sector organizations like UNFPA, PSI, Johns Hopkins University, Room to Read, and many others. She's been working in the area of public health, education, communications, and governance in India. Vibha has led many assignments in the USA, Russia, Netherlands, Thailand, Myanmar, and Sri Lanka. And during these times, she's gained a reputation as a courageous and compassionate leader, two very important qualities in today's times. And she's been known for her innovations, her governance systems, and the design thinking-based approach to work. In addition to her master's in composite history from Lucknow University, Vibha credits her knowledge to programs as the Guest, the Person, Circle Work, Science of Meaningful Life from Berkeley University, and SEE Learning, which is from the Emory University. Vibha's wisdom is grounded in her practice of mindfulness, internal yoga, and her family values. I would also like to add that she is an international speaker and a facilitator for holistic well-being, for a holistic well-being course, which is called Gratitude Joy Shop, Authentic Leadership and Values in Action Workshops. Vibha is an advisory board member of the World Happiness Foundation and a convener for Udyan Shalini Girls Fellowship. She is leading a global gratitude mission to spread the joy of gratitude and nurturing her NGO's socio-spiritual intervention in a village in Barabanki district in Uttar Pradesh. And I had the privilege of being there with her team members and her community members. It's been a pleasure, and I'm sure it'll develop into a beautiful place. It's a secret right now, though, that she's going to develop it into the world's first gratitude village. And I'm really looking forward to it. Vibha enjoys silence at least once a week and travels like a nomad. Her first book, Walls That Speak, has been published recently. I now invite Vibha to conduct the session. Over to you, Vibha.
Thank you so much, Professor Aparna. And a very khush afternoon to everyone. It's my privilege today to be part of this webinar series, and I must congratulate the Richmond Fellowship Society and other two collaborating partners for this very, very meaningful initiative in the field of mental health. And it's an honor that I am here to share my experience and knowledge in the domain of gratitude within the context of happiness and mental health. Honor all the more because I'm aware that today in my audience, there are experts, specialists, senior people, dignitaries from the field of psychiatry, from the field of psychology, from the field of higher education, NGO leaders, management people, administrators, caregivers, and all this make a very, very powerful group of advocates. And I'm privileged that I am here sitting and sharing my knowledge with this group of people. And I believe, on the other hand, there is a group of youth, young people, students, from some of these institutions who are going to be in my audience. And I'm really looking forward to engaging with more so with young people. So I will take about 30 minutes to share my knowledge and about the way I look at gratitude. And then I will be more than happy to give more time to people for Q&A. So if that fits within the schedule, Professor Aparna. So I would like to begin, and I will quickly do my screen share. Okay. So is my screen visible? Okay, thank you, Aparna ma'am. All right, so yes, the power of gratitude for mental health and happiness. So far I have been doing the joy of gratitude. And today, this webinar series has taken another level in terms of the power of gratitude in the context of mental health and happiness. So at the outset, I would like to invite you to please look at your palms just like this. You can take one palm or both the palms and spend about 15 seconds looking at your palms. Yes, this is your time with your palms. ये आपका अपनी हथेली के साथ का 10-15 सेकंड का समय है. So don't look at me, don't look at the screen, and look at your palms. Its shape, color of the skin, size, हाथ की रेखाएं, जो भी दिख रहा है आपको अपने हाथ पे 15 सेकंड ध्यान दीजिए. Ting tong. So this is a bell that I use. Now I'm giving you a question. And the question is, when you look at your palms, so you have to look at your palms again after reading this question. So when you look at your palms, what message or thought you get about gratitude? जब आप अपनी palms को अभी दोबारा देखते हैं और साथ में gratitude word को ध्यान में रखते हैं, तो आपके mind में क्या feeling या thought आ रहा है gratitude को लेकर के? So please do this reflection for another half minute, 30 seconds. And then I will take maybe 3 responses, Aparna ma'am, through the chat.
Yes.
Ting tong. So the time is up now. 30 seconds are over. Anybody who would like to share, and when I request for sharing, it is for both the questions. First time when you looked at your palms, and then second time when I gave you this clue, the word gratitude. What came to your mind? So Aparna, would you like to have responses in the chat?
Yes, and then I'll just be sharing. We've got one response right now that this is from Mr. Prashant Mittal. He's saying, thanks to God and way forward in life by blessings of God.
Beautiful. Thank you, Prashant ji. Yes, any other response? So there is no right or wrong answer for this. This is your individual reflection with your palms, with the word gratitude. So feel free to share whatever came to your mind.
We have 2 more comments. We rather have more now. So we have Deep Jyoti, who's saying, thank God for an able body. Wonderful. We have Richa Dheer, who's saying, I felt gratitude for having these hands and palms to enable me to do any work. And we have Dr. Desai, Dr. Nimeshji Desai, who's saying destiny.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for these sharings. And through this simple activity, what I made you do was I made you pause for a few seconds. I made you pay attention to your very simple thing, which is there in your physical body, your palm, your hand. And then with the word gratitude, I also drew your attention towards your palm with a sense of appreciation. And look at the wonderful things that have been shared by people. Thanks to God, blissful, able body. I'm sure there must be many more who would be sitting with the feeling to share. So feel free to type in the chat. I cancel the restriction of 3 responses. There can be many more people who want to share, because I would love to read these responses once the session is over. So thank you for this sharing. Now, I will just lay down before you simple definitions of the term gratitude and mental health. So gratitude is affirming goodness and recognizing the sources. So affirming goodness meaning, as ma'am had also shared in the beginning when she gave her opening speech, she had talked about count your blessings. So it is as simple as that. We need to affirm that there are good things that happen to me, that happen with me in my life. And then the second step is that also recognize the source. So from what is the source of that good thing or that good experience that is happening to me? So these are 2 simple things that Dr. Shashi Rai also had mentioned in terms of count your blessings. Now, in the domain of positive psychology, gratitude is defined as a positive emotional response. Derived from the Latin word gratia, which means grace, graciousness, and gratefulness. And a couple of responses that Aparna ji read from the chat, I think, were in the direction of grace. The kind of words that were used with the palm reflection were in the direction of grace. Now, if I look at the definition given by the World Health Organization regarding mental health, so mental health is a state of well-being in which the individual realizes his or her own abilities, can cope with the normal stresses of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to make a contribution to his or her community also. You would notice that in this definition of WHO, I have put the word stress in bold. So I will come to that. What is the reason of making that in bold? So just a very quick look on stress and gratitude. So stress is generally a state of worry or mental tension caused by a difficult situation. Very quickly, I will share with you snippets of a real story where the person experienced some stress and that led to a kind of depression. So very quickly, so the person whose story I'm sharing was a well-respected middle-aged person. At that point, country head of an international organization. The person chose to act as a whistleblower because there was some misappropriation of fund, and being at that position of leadership and responsibility, the person chose to act like a whistleblower. When this process of whistleblowing started, that led to inquiry and all that stuff that happens with any such incident, this person went through a lot of stress. Interestingly, the same person, while being country head of this international agency, was also doing some volunteering work. And in that volunteering work, this person was a trainer for Project Happiness. And within this Project Happiness, there was a series of themes, topics, like the topic of compassion, kindness, gratitude, forgiveness. So when this topic of gratitude came, this person, being somebody who believes in practice what you teach, thought of applying some practices related to gratitude. While the person was still in that state of stress, leaning towards depression. So she herself practiced gratitude activities for some time, for about 1 week or 10 days. And lo and behold, you know what happened? Within a week, this person noticed changes in her mental well-being. And when I say changes, notice positive changes in her mental well-being. To put it very simply, उनको ये महसूस हुआ कि जो डिप्रेशन जैसी स्टेट हो रही थी, उससे वो बाहर निकल पाई because of this. So because of this, तो बाद में समझ में आया, at that point, this person tried to investigate that everything else in my external world is the same, meaning that whistleblowing act, that challenges, that inquiry, and whatever she was leading was the same. And everything else was also in the same in terms of family situation or external world. The only change that this person has done was she had started practicing gratitude in a very prescriptive or religiously, so to say. So then this person became curious and she Googled the word gratitude and its impact on mental well-being. And then she found some amazing research studies done by some of the leading edge universities in the world, to name a few, Stanford and Berkeley. And she came to know that this here is something which is very, very simple, yet has such a powerful impact on our mental well-being. That was the day this person decided to start something in the domain of gratitude. And that person was none other than Vibha herself. That person was me. So this is the story of my own positive experience with gratitude and managing my stress well with simple gratitude practices, and then getting so much of conviction by this that I currently am leading a global gratitude mission, and I go around the world. Today is my 254th session on the topic of gratitude. And everywhere I go, irrespective of the profile of participants, like Indian Army, medical doctors, NGO leaders, community workers, churches, people have the same experience once they start practicing gratitude, the way I have been sharing in my gratitude joy shops. So here is a big connection that one can draw from the power of gratitude and mental health and happiness. So personally speaking, yes, it contributed to my mental well-being as well as it enhanced my happiness, especially in a stage or in a phase when I was very much distressed because of my external situation and the kind of work I had taken upon myself. Now, I would also like to put a disclaimer here about gratitude, because what is happening these days in the name of positivity, being positive, positive attitude, somehow I use a term, there is some kind of fake positivity also. And I will define that, why I'm saying fake positivity. Through this slide, I will explain that. So gratitude is not about being in denial of negative things or circumstances. It's meaning thereby, if there is something in my life which is not good, even today something wrong has happened to me in my external world or in anything in my day-to-day life, I have to attend to it. I can't remain in denial that, oh, sab kuch theek hai, sab theek ho jayega, and blah, blah, blah. Because if I'm doing that, if I'm ignoring negative things, it is emotional or spiritual bypassing, and it is not good for mental health. We have to attend to whatever wrong or negative is happening in my life. The idea of gratitude is that you have to cultivate a habit to focus on what is happening well, within quotes, that is gratitude, instead of focusing all the time on what is not happening well. And then being in complaint mode most of the time. We all complain, I also complain. Yet I'm not focusing on what is not happening well in my life all the time. I create many, many windows to count my blessings and enjoy the power of gratitude and remain a state of happiness and mental well-being. Now, I know there are many experts in this, in my audience today, medical doctors, psychologists, psychiatrists. So this is a research study that I quote. When I studied this course at Berkeley University, Science of Meaningful Life, then I met some professors who have done cutting-edge research in the field of gratitude. So this research comes very handy for me to show people who do not buy the idea of gratitude as a just simple moral value. क्योंकि अगर पुराने जमाने की बातें देखें, अगर हम different faiths की बातें देखें, तो हर एक धर्म में, हर एक फेथ में ग्रेटिट्यूड की बात कही गई है. तो उस नजरिए से हम कह सकते हैं कि ग्रेटिट्यूड इज अ गुड मॉरल वैल्यू. जैसे कहा जाता है ना कि ऑनेस्टी होनी चाहिए बच्चों में, वैसे ही ग्रेटिट्यूड की बात भी की जा सकती है. बट इन प्रेजेंट टाइम आई थिंक इट इज इम्पॉर्टेंट दैट वी एग्जामिन, इन्वेस्टिगेट एंड लुक एट एविडेंस, because this is an age of science and we work with young people. So it is important that they ask questions that why it is so. It should not be because Vibha felt good by gratitude. It should not be that everybody should adopt gratitude. So here is some evidence. So there is this Professor Bob Emmons at University of California, Berkeley. So he took a sample of 3,000 people in the age group 8 years to 80 years. And the activity of gratitude was that all these 3,000 people wrote gratitude journal for 3 weeks regularly. That is for 21 days. And then when he did his research with these people, this is what he found in terms of benefits. So if you look at the 3 broad categories, the benefits in physical health. So people who wrote gratitude journal and who are intentionally grateful, they have stronger immune systems. They are less bothered by aches and pains. They have lower blood pressure. They exercise more and take better care of their health. And they sleep longer and feel more refreshed upon waking. This is very important. Feel refreshed upon waking. The second category of benefits is psychological health, quite related to our topic today. So people who wrote gratitude journal and who are intentionally grateful have higher levels of positive emotions. They are more alert, alive, and awake. They feel more joy and pleasure. They have more optimism and happiness. And the third category of benefits is social health, which also contributes to mental health and mental well-being. So people who wrote gratitude journal and who are intentionally grateful, they are more helpful, generous, and compassionate. They are more forgiving. They are more outgoing. They feel less lonely and isolated. So these are amazing benefits. And there are many more studies done by Harvard and Stanford and Johns Hopkins, which reinforce these broad findings that I'm sharing here with you today. Okay, so now I will quickly share about the science behind it. I know there are many specialists and experts in this group, and they know me better about this, what I'm sharing in next 2 slides. But for the benefit of my young people, students and young people, and somebody like me who is not from the psychology or medical science background. So what I'm sharing is, I think is taught in 11th or 12th standard in our biology course, in our curriculum. So imagine that tomorrow morning, I'm just assuming that there are many people sitting here from Greater Noida and Bangalore and some of these beautiful places. So, और मौसम इस समय बहुत अच्छा है. NCR में भी बारिश हो रही है, लखनऊ में भी बारिश हो रही है. So tomorrow morning, you people, बहुत अच्छा मौसम है और आप water bottle लेकर के निकले हैं मौसम को enjoy करने, and you have gone out for a walk. Suddenly, an angry monkey jumps in front of you. Bilkul red-faced, right in front of you. What happens? There is a natural fight or flight or stress response. So some of you will try to fight with the monkey. जिनको खुद में बहुत हिम्मत है वो शायद monkey से 2 हाथ करना चाहेंगे. Or many of you would want to run away as fast as you can. So this is called stress response. Stress response is triggered when we experience something new, in this case, this angry monkey, something unexpected, or when we have little control over situation. Now, I want you to pause for a moment here and imagine how many angry monkeys we face in a day, especially जो 12-14 घंटे हमारे बाहर होते हैं, right from traffic to traffic signals, somebody jumping over, and then email खोला तो उसमें boss का कोई mail आ गया, then family से कोई mail है. So these are all different forms of angry monkey in present times. So in flight or fight response mode, biologically what happens, the blood pressure increases, heart beats faster, digestive processes stop, and many other things happen. So this is called sympathetic nervous system that is called into action automatically. We are made like this. Our human biology is made like this, that this system comes into action because our body needs maximum energy to run or to fight with this angry monkey. So fight करने के लिए पैर हाथ में सारी एनर्जी चाहिए, तो बाकी जो फंक्शंस हैं वो थोड़ा स्लो मोड में आ जाते हैं या पॉज मोड में आ जाते हैं, और ये सारी एनर्जी हमारी उस एंग्री मंकी से बचने में, भागने में, लड़ने में निकल जाती है, जो कि बहुत ज्यादा स्ट्रेस क्रिएट करती है. ना फिर क्या हुआ, परसों फिर बहुत अच्छा मौसम था, बहुत ही अच्छा, एकदम सुबह सनराइज के बाद आप फिर से आपने हिम्मत करी कि चलो ठीक है, कल मंकी मिला था लेकिन आज हम फिर हिम्मत करते हैं. यू अगेन वेंट फॉर अ वॉक इन द मॉर्निंग एंड दिस टाइम यू नोटिस अ नाइस क्लीन बेंच. जहाँ पे आप वॉक कर रहे थे तो आपको अपने वॉक एरिया के पास एक बड़ी अच्छी सी बेंच दिखी, फिर आपको एक वहाँ पे पेट भी दिखा and you are carrying a book. So you just sat there on that bench for maybe 20 minutes and you were enjoying your book in the company of that pet and beautiful weather. Now what happened? This is your rest and digest or relaxation response. This response is triggered when there is no fear, no threat, no worry or anxiety. This response saves energy, your BP stabilizes, pulse rate slows down, digestive process starts. This is called parasympathetic system, which is activated automatically. Now, why I'm telling you and why I'm taking you for a walk in Greater Noida or Bangalore? The reason of showing these two slides is that every time you are grateful, every time you are counting your blessings, even today in my session, when you looked at your palms and when you, the kind of reflections some of you shared, you are in a state of gratefulness. And this state of gratefulness triggers rest and digest or relaxation response. That is very good for our, not only for our overall health, but for our mental health first and foremost. So here is the connection between gratitude and our autonomic nervous system. Now, how to practice gratitude and a little bit about neuroscience if time allows. How many minutes I have, Professor Aparna?
We'll take about 12 minutes so that we have enough time for question and answers.
Me talking, 12 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah? Okay.
Yes.
Thank
10
you.
to 12.
Okay, so the way I have designed my gratitude joy shop, in addition to content, there is lots of facilitation and process element. And I have devised a framework. And from that framework, today I'm just taking one piece because I'm not running a joy shop here today. I'm just sharing some pieces of the power of gratitude. So I have devised 3 simple steps, which I call 3 Ps, which are very, very helpful in terms of practicing gratitude or adopting gratitude in your routine life. So the first P is pause. पॉज इसलिए भी कि हमें लगता है कि आजकल हम में से बहुत सारे लोग वी आर इन द बिजनेस ऑफ बिजीनेस, और बिकॉज ऑफ दिस बिजनेस ऑफ बिजीनेस वी रेयरली गेट अ चांस टू पॉज, एंड एवरी टाइम यू पॉज यू विल बी एबल टू सेवर ब्यूटी अराउंड यू. इट कुड बी सुबह चिड़ियों की चहचहाहट, it could be some beautiful music. Just when I paused at the outset of this session and I was really enjoying the beautiful music that was put. And in that moment of pause, I was in a state of gratitude for the people who had put that music and for my ears who were able to listen to that music. So that was my simple practice of gratitude right now today as part of this session at around 3 o'clock. So the first is pause. The moment you pause, you are able to pay attention. When I say pay attention, you can pay attention to any of the blessings or things or people who are in your space in that moment. And as you pay attention, you praise that person, object, situation with an attitude of gratitude. You appreciate that. So here are simple 3 Ps, which one can use as a formula to practice gratitude. It's not about big things. It's not about कि कोई हमें कोहिनूर का हीरा ला करके देगा तभी हम उसके लिए grateful होंगे. It's about एक कप अगर अच्छी पुदीने वाली चाय भी किसी ने पिला दी, so that moment you just savor, pause, pay attention to that tea and to that person who made that tea for you and praise. अब जहाँ पे praise करने की बात हो रही है, appreciate करने की बात हो रही है, इसमें अगर आपको in person किसी person के लिए ये चीज हो रही है तो it is quite possible हमारी ego बीच में आ जाती है. मैं लगता नहीं कैसे कह दें, ये तो बहुत ज्यादा हो जाएगा, टू मच हो जाएगा. सो दैट्स ओके. कभी मेरी जॉय शॉप अटेंड करेंगे तो उसको ओवर करने के भी तरीके बताएंगे. बट फॉर नाउ आई एम जस्ट सजेस्टिंग कि इवन इफ यू जस्ट मेक अ मेंटल नोट ऑफ प्रेज फॉर दैट पर्सन हु हैज ब्रॉट लंच ऑन योर टेबल और हु हैज ब्रॉट टी फॉर यू, making that mental note will also help you in all the benefits that Professor Emmons talks about in his study. You will start getting all those benefits. So additionally, in terms of neuroscience, by paying attention, you stimulate certain neural pathways. The more you stimulate neural pathways, the stronger they become. Now the choice is yours. Aapki choice aapke haath mein hai. You can choose. If you are constantly complaining, the neural pathways of negative thinking become stronger. I'm putting it very simply. So remember Hebb's law, neurons that fire together wire. And the good news is this entire theory of neuroplasticity, जो कि अभी काफी advanced medicine में use हो रहा है ये चीज. So we can rewire the brain to some extent. And here the simple thing is that when you pay attention to what is happening well, that is paying attention with a sense of appreciation, with the sense of gratefulness, you rewire the brain for positivity, leading to better mental. So some of the experiments and studies that have been done, like the way these studies are done on monks and mindfulness practitioners, same way gratitude studies have also been done. कि वो सब जो EEG वगैरह खूब सारे वायर लगा दिए जाते हैं, उससे जो सब टेस्ट किया जाता है कि what is happening inside. So again, putting it very simply, gratitude makes us happier. When we are happy, the neurotransmitter dopamine is released in the brain. Dopamine really improves overall sense of well-being, and overall sense of well-being increases capacity to learn and vibrancy. Very important in the context of students. You will learn better if you are grateful. And when one is grateful, the brain gets serotonin boost that makes us better problem solvers, more open to diversity. आजकल सभी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में, खासकर हमारे NGO सेक्टर में तो बहुत बात हो रही है डाइवर्सिटी एंड इंक्लूजन की. So you're more open to diversity, more creative, innovative, and all this makes one happier. So today we are talking of mental health and happiness. So all this put together makes us happier. So this was from my side in terms of input. Professor Aparna mentioned something about my work, so I will just touch upon that and then we will open it for question and answer. This is a socio-spiritual intervention that we have recently started through my foundation about 10 months back in a village and a block in Barabanki, which is a neighboring district from Lucknow. So right now, 7 projects are under execution at varying stage. So I will not talk of details of those projects. You can see some names here. This is the master vision and geographic representation of our work in that village. So 7 projects are already up and running, including very, very impactful and powerful mental health C4MH work that we have done with support from RFS and Lady Irwin College. Some trainings we have done, and then those youth are doing activities in rural area also. So I will only talk about this one because this is related to gratitude. So I had some meeting with the district authorities, in fact, to be precise, with the DM about 6 months back. And I told that this is what I spread the joy of gratitude. So he, being a medical doctor, he was posted there in August. Now he has been transferred. He was very much convinced because he could understand the neuroscience of gratitude. And he said, why not do this for my district? So I said, let's make Barabanki the first city or district of gratitude in the world. Because in the world, there are cities of peace, there are cities of compassion, happiness. So this is our small endeavor. हमने ज़रूरत करी है छोटी सी शुरुआत की. और शुरुआत अच्छी हुई है because the number 2 in charge of the district, the CDO herself sat through our 3-hour joy shop as a participant, including 35 of her district level officials and block development officers. Now, gradually, we will take this forward to different audience. So we launched in, we can say June 23rd is the beginning. 27th of May, we launched this formally by the CDO. And in next 3 years, this is the broad plan of action. We will be reaching out to educational institutions, both private and government offices, because government is a partner for us. The administration is our partner for this initiative. Then private organizations, media, Rotary, IMA, NGOs, elected representatives, villages, families. So taking it forward about 10 days back, again in the spirit of gratitude. So yes, this is a picture from the launch. You can see the CDO herself is participating in an activity and looking very happy. So this also shows to some extent the gratitude or happiness का कुछ तो connection है. And जो villages में करने की बात है, वहाँ पे हम कोई typical teaching का session नहीं करने जा रहे हैं. हमारी जो भी activity गांव वालों के साथ हो रही है, अलग-अलग community groups के साथ हो रही है, उसमें हम शुक्रिया का थीम इंटीग्रेट कर रहे हैं. जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल हमारे वेल को लेकर के 3 वाटर बॉडीज पे, सो वी जस्ट कन्वीन्ड अ जल शुक्रिया चौपाल गांव में. तो उसमें जो लोग आए तो शुरुआत हुई जल के लिए शुक्रिया क्यों करना चाहिए, और एक सिंपल एक्टिविटी कराई कि जब हम पानी भी पीते हैं तो हम कैसे उसका शुक्रिया करें, और शुक्रिया करें तो पानी को तो कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ने वाला, लेकिन मेरे को वो प्रोफेसर एमंस वाले सारे बेनिफिट्स मिल जाएंगे ना. सो आई डू दिस फॉर माई ओन गुड हेल्थ एंड माई ओन मेंटल वेलबींग. So that is how we started a Jal Shukriya Chaupal. Then we will have a series of these such chaupals on the theme of gratitude in the context of water parties. So with this, I will pause and I will be happy to take questions. Over to you, Aparna ma'am.
Thank you, Vibha ji. I think about 45 minutes of power-packed conversation. And telling us about the importance of gratitude. अक्सर हमें बहुत कुछ पता होता है, पर अगर आप जैसे कोई मिले जो कि उसको फिर दोबारा जहन में सामने ले आए और हमारा ध्यान इस तरफ केंद्रित करें कि हम सब में ये एक कैपेबिलिटी है कि हम सब ग्रैटिट्यूड को प्रैक्टिस कर सकते हैं, और सिर्फ कोई रास्ता दिखाने वाला चाहिए, हाथ पकड़ने वाला, साथ देने वाला चाहिए. आज वो काम आपने हम सबके लिए. Thank you so much. I now request the participants to please write your questions in the chat. I will be reading one question at a time for Vibha ji, and I'll put the question to her. And हम लोग सब उम्मीद करते हैं कि वो हमें हमारे सवालों से जुड़े कुछ ना कुछ आगे और बताएंगी या समझाएंगी अपने अनुभव के आधार पर. और जब तक आप लोग अपने मन में कुछ जो सवाल अभी तक उठे होंगे आप चैट में लिखते हैं, तब तक विभा जी अगर आप मुझे परमिट करें तो हम लोगों ने कुछ अपना छोटा सा एक सर्वे किया था पूछने के लिए सबसे कि भाई आप लोग एक वेबिनार अटेंड करने वाले हैं और ग्रैटिट्यूड के बारे में बात होगी, और हैप्पीनेस और मेंटल हेल्थ से इस सब का ग्रैटिट्यूड का क्या लेना देना है, आपके मन में क्या विचार है. तो कुछ एक क्वेश्चंस हमने इकट्ठे किए थे. If you allow me, I'll put the first question to you. In the meanwhile, the audience can also be writing their questions in the chat. So,
would you like to change the screen settings now? Because
yeah,
right now my slide is there. Should I stop sharing?
Yeah, please, you can stop sharing. That would be nice. Yes, you're in focus, and we can be talking to each other and to the audience here. So the first question to you would be that, does writing कुछ भी जो से मेरे मन में मेरा कोई अभी अनुभव है, क्या मैं कोई पेपर पे, कोई डायरी में, कोई जर्नल में अगर लिखूं तो क्या उससे मुझे अपनी ब्लेसिंग्स को काउंट करने में, आइडेंटिफाई करके काउंट करने में मदद मिलेगी? So would writing a journal kind of a thing help? What do you say?
Yes. So first of all, writing a gratitude journal. So when I recommend writing a journal as part of my gratitude work, it's not about any journal. So you have to have a special, koi choti si simple journal, which is your very personal, simple, easy to carry kind of a notebook, 5 rupees wali, nothing fancy. And the idea is that when you begin with 5 positive experiences from a day. When I say positive experiences, something like a blessing. Aapko count your blessing type. A beautiful sunrise. Again, somebody making tea for you, or somebody dropping you to some place. You didn't have a conveyance and somebody gave you a lift. You could reach there in time. So even if you start picking these very, very simple kind of mundane routine experiences from a day, again, I'm underlining the word positive experience. Begin with 5. And if you can continue this religiously for 21 days, you will start seeing the impact. So in my case, the story that I told you in the beginning, I started writing the journal. That is the activity I started doing in that difficult phase of mine. And मेरे को within a week difference दिखना शुरू हो गया. मतलब 1 week के बाद. Normally जो प्रोफेसर एमंस की स्टडी है उसके हिसाब से 21 दिनों का उन्होंने स्टडी किया है. But हम जो मेरे participants experience कर रहे हैं, like within 10-15 days, you start seeing a shift in your state of well-being. So choose 5. Initially begin with very neutral things. Ego वाली कोई भी चीजें मत लीजिए क्योंकि वो barrier की तरह आ जाएगी. Take nature, take strangers, these things, then it is easy for you to know, develop that neural pathway and then be in that mode of. And believe me, आप 5 से शुरू करेंगे, list अपनी 10-12 तक चली जाएगी. And let me also share one thing with you. कभी कभी जब बहुत ही लो वेदर टाइप डे होंगे लाइफ में, हम सबकी जिंदगी में होते हैं, तो आप वो अपना जर्नली उठा के पलट के पेजेस पढ़ लीजिए, पिछले 20 पेजेस, एंड देयर विल बी सो मच ऑफ सेंस ऑफ सेटिस्फैक्शन एंड फीलिंग ऑफ जॉय द मोमेंट यू रीड दैट. एंड देयर इज अ साइकोलॉजी बिहाइंड दैट ऑल्सो, बिकॉज ब्रेन को ये नहीं पता है कि मेरे साथ ये अभी हो रहा है कि पास में हुआ था. द मोमेंट यू स्टार्ट रीडिंग एंड रीलिविंग दैट मोमेंट, you will gain those benefits. So it's a win-win thing, writing a gratitude journal.
Right. Thank you, Vibha ji. I think वही बात है जो अभी आपने कहा था ना, pause, pay attention. वही शायद जर्नलिंग मुझे लगता है उसी का एक सबसे easy to implement वाला एक तरीका होगा. एक क्वेश्चन, अगला क्वेश्चन, एक नहीं थोड़े हैं, 2-3 क्वेश्चन है मेरे पास. एक क्वेश्चन जो नेक्स्ट आपसे पूछना चाहूंगी वो ये होगा कि हाउ कैन आई बी ग्रेटफुल व्हेन समटाइम्स लाइफ इज सो चैलेंजिंग. आपने अपना एक्सपीरियंस बताया कि हाँ, व्हेन यू एक्सपीरियंस्ड अ चैलेंजिंग सिचुएशन यू डिड a few things to help you be grateful. जैसे कि आपने थोड़ा पढ़ा, थोड़ा रिसर्च किया, सबसे पहले ग्रैटिट्यूड शब्द के बारे में ही सोचा और पढ़ा. सो हाउ कैन वी, कुछ एक concrete, अगर आप हमें 2-3 simple to do suggestions दे रहे हैं, that how can we grateful, how can we be grateful when everything around us is going wrong? कई बार होता है लाइफ.
I wish I was doing this session in person, क्योंकि हम आपको एक डेमो करके दिखाते उसने तो आपको बहुत ही अच्छा एक्सपीरियंस होता. बट nevertheless I will give you this as a tip. How to do it? So I want you to hold your nose for maybe, just keep hold it. Press your nose. कितनी देर तक कर सकते हैं, जितनी देर तक कर सकते हैं करिए, उसके बाद देखिए क्या होता है. जोर से दबाइए, एकदम ब्लॉक कर दीजिए नोज को. अपर्णा मैम क्या हुआ?
मैं कह रही हूँ अब दम घुट गया मेरा, मैंने बहुत देर कोशिश करी और
दम घुट गया. एंड आई वाज ऑब्जर्विंग योर बॉडी लैंग्वेज. हाँ, फीलिंग ऑफ, हाँ, ओ मतलब व्हाट अ रिलीफ, आई कैन ब्रीथ नाउ. So here is a simple thing, our breath. All of us have that 24/7. Can we take a moment of pause and be thankful to our lungs for their capacity to hold breath? कोविड टाइम में हम सबने देखा, अपने नियर एंड डियर वंस को देखा, पूरी समाज में देखा, देश विदेश में देखा कि लंग्स को ही लेकर के कितना बड़ा इशू था. एंड वी टेक आवर लंग्स फॉर ग्रांटेड, वी टेक आवर ब्रेथ फॉर ग्रांटेड, जो कि हमारे साथ हर समय है. जिंदगी में कुछ भी और चल रहा हो, सारा कुछ आउटर वर्ल्ड का बिल्कुल प्रॉब्लमेटिक चल रहा हो, इवन देन इफ यू टेक अ मोमेंट ऑफ पॉज एंड जस्ट डू दिस 5 times in a day, believe me, you will be able to rewire your brain and reap all those benefits that I talked about in those 3 categories.
Thank you for making me do it.
अगली बार हम आपसे मिलेंगे तो हम आपकी नाक पकड़ेंगे. Then you will enjoy it all the more.
ठीक बात. So I'll look forward to that. One more question, the next one. So अगर क्या gratitude एक life skill है, या क्या इस gratitude का हमारी life skill से कोई connection है? What do you see? Like, what do you think? कि how can I be grateful? Or talk about how can I talk about my life skills and practice gratitude and be grateful? Can they two be connected?
So yes, these two are connected. So when I talk of life skill, I refer to WHO's framework of life skills, which has 10 core life skills within the 3 broad headings of social skills, thinking skills, and emotional skills. So when I look at those 10 life skills defined by the World Health Organization, out of those 10 core life skills, 5 life skills can be met or can be cultivated if one is practicing gratitude intentionally. And those 5 life skills are interpersonal skills, effective communication skills, self-awareness, creativity, and the most important is coping with stress. So these are 5 life skills out of that framework of 10 life skills. So yes, life skills and gratitude is connected. And that is why it is very important that if we take this kind of gratitude work education system, both higher education and younger children, this can really make a difference. This can create an impact. So life skills का agenda भी meet हो सकता है. At the same time, mental well-being को भी contribute करेगा.
Great. Thank you for clarifying, because sometimes, we take things for granted. So, विभा जी, एक क्वेश्चन इस समय हमारे एक पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं अर्चना सेठी जी, उन्होंने शेयर किया है. I'll just read her, her views, and आप उस पे react कर सकते हैं. So she's saying that in spite of knowing that one should be grateful, and also given the fact that I thank God each night before sleeping for all the grace, yet the grave problems that I face overpower the feeling of gratitude, and I am enveloped by a fear that जो अच्छा है वो भी नहीं रहेगा. So I start praying that please don't take away the small mercies I give, and give me strength. I mean, my focus goes on my problems. तो ध्यान उनका अपनी समस्याओं पर ज़्यादा जा रहा है. So how can she practice gratitude then?
Thank you so much, Archana जी. बहुत ही अच्छा सवाल आपने पूछा. So gratitude के केस में खासकर आपने ध्यान दिया होगा, बार बार intentional practice, हम intentional word use कर रहे हैं, consciously gratitude को practice करने की बात कर रहे हैं. तो उसमें एक चीज बहुत जरूरी हो जाती है, वो है हमें फोकस करना चीजों पे. सो सपोज रोज हम भगवान को शुक्रिया करें खाना खाने के पहले कि थैंक यू गॉड, जैसे स्कूल्स में प्रेयर भी होती थी कि थैंक यू गॉड फॉर फूड ऑन माई प्लेट. So that's a very generic way of gratitude. Whereas the kind of gratitude I am talking, or the kind of gratitude will give you all these benefits that I talked about, is something about specificity. So अगर हम शुक्रिया कर रहे हैं तो भगवान का शुक्रिया तो करें, वो बहुत अच्छी बात है, वो करते रहना चाहिए. लेकिन साथ में वो 5 लोग जो उस प्रोसेस में इन्वॉल्व रहे मेरे को खाना खिलाने की, right from the farmer to the person in the kitchen to person who serve me, अगर हम उन सब पे जीरो डाउन करके उन सब का थैंक यू करेंगे, so one is that I will be in that present moment, in that very zoomed experience of gratefulness. It will not be generic and broad that oh thank you God, which is very good but generic. So in gratitude benefits when you are being specific about experiences, people, situations, objects.
Okay.
So just let me just add one more example so that it can be helpful in understanding. So एक तरीका हो सकता है कि हम भगवान का शुक्रिया करें कि हाँ खुदा आपने मेरे को बहुत कुछ दिया, हम बहुत संपन्न हैं, अच्छी जिंदगी जी रहे हैं, एक रीजनेबल लाइफ जी रहे हैं. दूसरा, अगर हम ग्रेटिट्यूड जर्नल में लिखेंगे तो हम बोलेंगे कि आई एम वेरी थैंकफुल फॉर माई लैपटॉप, बिकॉज ऑफ दिस लैपटॉप आई एम एबल टू डू today's Zoom meeting in a very smooth manner. So that is where the specific thing comes. And I do this. मेरा जर्नल कभी आप पढ़िएगा तो आपको ऐसी बहुत सारी सिंपल चीजें मिलेंगी.
Right, thank you. So मुझे एक बात बताइए, थैंक यू से जो मुझे ध्यान आ रहा है कि भाई is gratitude simply about saying thank you, कि यहाँ gratitude इससे के है या इससे कुछ अलग है? How do I express my gratitude? Thank you बोलूं सबको चलेगा?
So there are 2 layers in this question, maybe in this response. One is that how we express it. It's about language, about body language or our gesture, how we express. So इसमें हम thank you कहते हैं, धन्यवाद कहते हैं, शुक्रिया कहते हैं, और कुछ बिना कहे ही हम किसी को express कर सकते हैं. नजरों से भी express किया जा सकता है gratitude, with a pat भी express किया जा सकता है gratitude. So there are different ways. But what I am talking here is that first it has to be felt within. जब आप इसको महसूस करेंगे, बिकॉज क्या हो गया है कि इवन हम लोगों के भी कंट्री में कल्चरली द वे वी से थैंक यू, वी डोंट इवन लुक एट दैट पर्सन. हम ही जब एयरपोर्ट पे उतरते हैं, टैक्सी वाले भैया को थैंक यू बोलते हैं तो थैंक यू बोला, धार से दरवाजा बंद किया और चले गए. सो द आइडिया हियर इज दैट पॉज एंड देन से थैंक यू. तो इसलिए जब से हम ग्रेटिट्यूड के डोमेन में आए हैं, तो इवन टैक्सी वालों भैया को भी जब हम थैंक यू बोलेंगे तो जैसे ही एयरपोर्ट आने वाला होगा उसके 2 मिनट पहले से मेरी स्पीच चालू हो जाती है. अगर मेरा पॉजिटिव एक्सपीरियंस हुआ है तो, अगर नहीं हुआ है तो हम नहीं करेंगे, बिकॉज इट्स नॉट अबाउट फेक पॉजिटिविटी. अगर अच्छा एक्सपीरियंस रहा कि हाँ आपने टाइम से पहुंचा दिया, आपने शॉर्टकट लिया और आप मेरे को शीशे से पीछे देख नहीं रहे थे, whatever 5 things I noticed in his behavior for which I am grateful to him, so I will make that speech and then I will leave. So ये डिफरेंस है. थैंक यू हम लोग ना, किसी ने दरवाजा खोला हम उसकी तरफ देखते भी नहीं है, थैंक यू बोला और ऐसे, इट्स वेरी वेरी मैकेनिकल थिंग. सो द आइडिया इज ग्रेटिट्यूड जब भी करते हैं तो उसके साथ वाई फॉर व्हाट भी थोड़ा सा बोलना पड़ता है. तो इट इज नॉट जस्ट 1 or 2 words, it is a couple of sentences at least.
So again that means to put it all together once again, मैं वो वापस उसी स्लाइड पे आपके जाती हूँ कि जहाँ आपने कहा पॉज, पे अटेंशन, और ध्यान देंगे तो तभी तो वो जो 1-2 एक्स्ट्रा चीजें आप कहनी है कि जो नोटिस करो उनको मेंशन करो, अप्रिशिएट करो, प्रेज करो. आई थिंक दैट शुड बी वेयर वी कैन स्टार्ट विद. Just since we are now reaching towards the end of our time, I would just read one question. एक है सवाल कि how can persons living with mental illnesses practice gratitude? अगर इस पे थोड़ा सा आप कुछ अगर कहना चाहें तो अच्छा रहेगा. And let's just take this because उसके बाद और comments हैं thanking you and appreciating you. So वो मैं बाद में पढ़ दूंगी. But अगर आप इसके थोड़ा सा कह सकें कि how can people living with mental illnesses express gratitude or practice gratitude?
So पहली चीज हम ये कहना चाहेंगे कि I am not an expert in the field of mental health. So जो भी हम कहेंगे, जो मेरा खुद का एक्सपीरियंस है कुछ लोगों के साथ केयर गिविंग के थ्रू हमने देखा, मेरा उतना ही लिमिटेड एक्सपीरियंस है मेंटल हेल्थ के साथ, तो उस लिमिट के साथ हम अपना रिस्पॉन्स देंगे. दूसरी चीज ये कि इट डिपेंड्स ऑन द डिग्री ऑफ मेंटल इलनेस, और शायद जो एक्सपर्ट्स यहाँ पे बैठे हैं वो ज्यादा इस बारे में कह पाएंगे या इसको फर्दर बता पाएंगे कि किस इंटेंसिटी की मेंटल इलनेस है. मेरे हिसाब से जो मेरा एक्सपीरियंस रहा, इवन इन द कोचिंग दैट आई डू ऑफ पीपल, उसमें हमारा एक्सपीरियंस ये रहा कि अगर 1-to-1 इंटरैक्शन में आप कोई एक्टिविटी करा रहे हैं, मतलब काइंड ऑफ अंडर ऑब्जर्वेशन, बिकॉज देन आई एज ए प्रैक्टिशनर और आई एज ए कोच और आई एज ए टीचर हैव बेटर कंट्रोल ओवर सिचुएशन. बिकॉज अगर किसी का ट्रिगर हो रहा है कुछ इमोशन थ्रू दिस ग्रेटिट्यूड एक्टिविटी, विच इज पॉसिबल बिकॉज आई डोंट नो व्हाट इज ट्रिगरिंग व्हाट इन दैट PMI पर्सन. सो अगर कुछ उनका ट्रिगर हो रहा है, सो आई विल बी इन अ बेटर पोजीशन टू मैनेज दैट, बिकॉज हम बहुत विजिलेंट हैं, हम उनकी बॉडी लैंग्वेज देख रहे हैं, उनका आई कॉन्टैक्ट देख रहे हैं, हमें लग रहा है कि उनके अंदर कुछ सिमर कर रहा है. सो हाउ आई शुड navigate in that situation without creating any damage to that person's well-being.
So thank you. I think I'll also request Dr. Shashi Rai to also maybe add to this if ma'am would like to add, because to say that a PMI person, I'm sure, is mentally in a very different state. And I agree with you, Vibha ji, कि उनकी इस समय की क्या मनोस्थिति है और उसके अनुसार ही हम ग्रैटिट्यूड की अगर हम बात करें कि वो ग्रैटिट्यूड कैसे एक्सप्रेस कर सकते हैं. So if Dr. Shashi Rai, ma'am, would you like to just maybe add to this response?
Yeah, I would like to say, because first of all, I'll congratulate you. A wonderful session. And I think for our patients, we should also teach them, because there are few things. Many of them are always grumbling that I have this problem, I have that problem. So in fact, I'm thinking that in our day care center, we are going to start that we give them this work every day night. Before going to sleep, they start making a journal. And like suppose there's a person who gets very aggressive every time, like patient. So we can ask him that, okay, तुम्हें गुस्सा तो आया, लेकिन दिन में कुछ ऐसी चीजें भी हुई होंगी जिसमें तुमको गुस्सा नहीं आया, या किसी ने तुमको खुशी दी होगी, तुम्हारे लिए कुछ अच्छा किया होगा, पहले उसके बारे में लिखो रोज. So I think this will really help them. So such things, या जैसे मैं ही क्यों बीमार हुई, then that person can think कि okay, हम बीमार हुए, लेकिन हमें बहुत सारे लोग हैं जो हमसे भी गड़बड़ है, हम इतनी सारी चीजें कर सकते हैं, हमें नाचना अच्छे से आता है, हम गाना गा सकते हैं, हम लोगों की हेल्प कर सकते हैं. So this, I think this will be a great, I've got a good idea from you that we can start in our daycare, that the patients can be advised to make a journal. And I think it will, after a month or so, we can give you a feedback if we meet.
Oh,
that would
so
be nice.
So nice. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. So, Dr. Mridula Seth, yes, ma'am, you would like to say something?
We have Dr. Desai with us today, and I think we would like to have a response. But I would just like to share with you that we tried as an experiment in our residential facility to have this exercise where we asked our members, residential members, to write about gratitude. And the counselors gave me a feedback that this exercise with some members needs to be monitored because it triggers certain response. So I think this is the feedback that I got from the counselor, that they have certain fears which get triggered. So that is the reason why I asked this question. Dr. Desai, would you like to say something?
I just say, I'm not saying you said what you said. Vibha, that was phenomenal. If I can get your slides with due acknowledgement wherever one can use it, and I hope to be able to meet with you sometime. जैसे अपर्णा जी ने कहा आपकी बाराबंकी में या दिल्ली में या गुड़गांव में मिलेंगे, नोएडा में मिलेंगे, बट जो मैडम मृदुला जी कह रही है उसको जरा 2 मिनट गौर करें. आई एम श्योर डॉक्टर शशि and other colleagues in psychiatry or mental health will consider. Let me give you an example. Half a minute. Yoga or any of meditative exercises, or any form of yoga. Unfortunately, some years ago, everybody believed, and I as a young psychiatrist also was willing to go along and say, हाँ, कोई भी कभी भी कर सकता है. I learned over time in the 1990s, especially Shashi at AIMS, जब आप लेडी आर्डिंग में थे, कि there are some situations clinical where perhaps meditative exercise can be problematic or even potentially,
yes,
तो हर अच्छी चीज का एक कॉशन भी होना पड़ेगा कि कहाँ नहीं इस्तेमाल होगा.
So Aparna ji, I just wanted to show my gratitude slide. So बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया आप सबका इतने अच्छे सवाल और इतने इंटरेस्ट के साथ सुना. I hope it was of some value, especially to my young people in the audience. So please take care of your mental well-being, practice gratitude, and connect me with any of these through any of these mediums if you want to reach out. Thank you, everyone.
Dr. Jha is the secretary of Richmond Fellowship Society, Delhi branch, and I request sir to please offer his vote of thanks for today's webinar.
On behalf of the organization, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to all of you for attending this webinar. It requires nothing to speak on the importance of gratitude, how it impacts one's life, and how it brings about a change in your behavior. While listening to all of you, it reminded me of my school days when for the first time I volunteered as a volunteer to work with Father Damien. And I remember distinctly that picture was so visible while listening to you that one of the lepers, he had been standing for more than 5 minutes behind me, holding a cup of tea as an appreciation. And when I turned around, I was aghast to see him in such a horrible condition. No nose, cheeks eaten up, stubs. And the cell-shock expression on my face was later on narrated, wherein I was told that what you focus on expands. And the expression of my face was nothing but awe and fear. My God, have I been working among them for almost a week? And that is where, these words crept back in my thought. What we repeatedly do, we become in our life. That expression, that body language expressed by that leper was oozing. It was oozing in the form where I would see the pus oozing from the others, from the wounds. That is what is gratitude. And if one develops the habit, there is no end to it. Coming to Viswas, I remember when I joined, I was told that the attrition rate is very high. Yet, when you sit down with the resident members, talk to them, and see the expression of joy that there is someone who is caring about them, the impact of gratitude requires no further. So I would like to thank our esteemed speakers for sharing their knowledge and insights with us, and the way their words would be inspiring the listeners, how to be more grateful, how to sort of, be appreciative for people and things around us, its impact, its validation. Volumes have been spoken on it. I would also like to thank our partners for their generous support for this webinar. Without your contribution, I don't think this webinar would have been what it is possibly happened today. Last but not the least, I would like to thank the organizing committee and volunteers for their hard work and dedication in making this, I would call it an event, a wonderful success. Their efforts has definitely not gone unnoticed, and I, on behalf of everyone, am immensely grateful for everything what you have all done. Once again, thank you all for being a part of this event and for your continued support. May I end by saying, let us strive to cultivate an attitude of gratitude in our daily life. Thank you all. Aparna ji, it's all yours.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And from my end, I would like to thank all the guests today, the speakers, and above all the participants who have spared their Saturday afternoon to be with us. And I think their coming and joining us means a lot. It means a lot to us who are working to create awareness, to create more visibility for the work around mental health and the services that the Richmond Fellowship Society India is offering across the country through all its branches. We look forward to having all the people who attended today's webinar again with us once again next month. We are making it a series of 4 webinars, of which first is today. We will be sharing news about these webinars through our social media handles. Please do connect with us. Do like and share our pages so that more people become aware of the work that this institution is doing. And if any of my colleagues and partner academic institutions are here, we'll be happy to partner with you along with the Richmond Fellowship Society, Lady Irwin, and I'm sure GL Bajaj team, if we can take forward this conversation into your campuses and into the communities that you have adopted. So thank you so much. I offer my sincere thanks to everyone. And if possible, Prajita, if you can give us all of us the right to turn on our videos, and those of you who would like to, we can take a group picture, and with that, we can end the meeting today. So please, if I request the audience, if the participants, if you would like to turn on your videos and just for just a few moments for us to record who all are here, it'll be nice. Else, we are still grateful to you for being here and spending your Saturday afternoon with us here. So, Prajita, we'll wait for about a minute because I'm sure participants might need a little while to be ready to turn on their cameras. And just if we take a moment, whoever can turn on, that will be good for us. And we'll just take a screenshot. Thank you so much, everyone. This is extremely satisfying to know that you are here with us, and we look forward to your participation and your support in organizing and participating with us in the next webinar series. Thank you so much, and a very good afternoon to everyone.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.